She's a very loving 3-year-old black lab. She is sassy in some ways. She's still, even though she's a trained facility dog, she's still a puppy at heart. So it's been interesting to get to know her personality, which is so different than my other 2 shepherds. She loves the children and the staff here. She comes in with a wagging tail every morning and excited to see, the kids that she's gotten to know and sort of her Lancaster family. So she's just a sweetheart. It was after my father passed that I inherited some money, and after I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. And my husband said, well, why don't you apply for a therapy dog? And I thought about trying to do something different with the guidance program here. I wasn't quite sure where I'd been here 20 years, where did I want to go with this. So I applied for her, interviewed, had my shepherds meet her, and it wasn't until, actually before I met her, it wasn't until I got the call that the ACTS organization said she'll be 3 on Friday. And when I looked at the calendar, I saw that it was my father's heaven day on the day that she was born. So he died and she was born on the same day. So it was like meant to be for our family.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
A facility dog could be working in a school, a hospital, private practice, physical therapy. They're dogs that are placed throughout the country. And there's been some dogs even sent down to Washington, D.C. to work in the airports as, explosion experts and things like that, as bomb sniffing dogs. So they match the dog's temperament to the place that's requesting the dog. Flora was trained as a service dog and a facility dog for part of her life. She knows how to do things like turn on and off lights and go pick things up and bring them to you. Take off your socks if you need help, because if I was a person with a disability and she was paired with me. So she knows a lot of tricks that the kids think she's performing, but it was actually daily living skills that she could use to help a person with a disability.
Pick it up.
So I had to learn to, because she was a brand new dog to me. I just met her, and learn the commands, learn how to work with her. So it was a lot, but invaluable.
Sit. Rest. Rest.
She really is. She's not geared to a strict caseload. So I had started at the beginning of last year doing 5 days a week, and it ended up just to be too much for her. So I was starting to limit to about 3 days a week, and now I've started at 2 days a week, and I'd like to build it to 3. So whatever day she's here for, she'll work beginning to end of the day with the individual students, small groups, and classrooms. It would be a little bit different last year because I could leave her in my office and I could gauge which classrooms she was a better fit for. This year, with her being in the classroom, she's working with all classrooms that she's here for that day. So I choose developmentally, if there's 24 children in a class and their noise level is too high and it's not a great fit for them, not a great fit for her, I won't bring her. But if we're working on skills and working on social skills and expectations and respect, responsibility, safety, then and it's a good fit for her to be there that day, then I'll bring her. So it is really trying to think of what's best for the kids and what's best for her. If I can show them her sit, down, stay commands and her active listening, then modeling that appropriate behavior. There's also, say for responsibility, picking up your own belongings. She can pick up her toys and put them away. Growth mindset, I have a trick. She can read cards. And so when kids are saying, for example, I just had a lesson with first graders on not using the word can't. The next lesson I could bring her and have her read her cards, and she follows the command on the card without me saying the command. Then it shows the children that Flora's practicing and persevering, then they can do that as well. So that it's tying her into the lesson for the day, and having her model, or at least bringing her into the conversation and having them empathize with her. When we're showing empathy and kindness, imagining how do we show her that empathy and kindness, how does she show us empathy and kindness in return, and just having them step outside of themselves and imagining another being.
Can kids bring her treats?
No, they cannot feed her unless I give them the treat to give to her, only because I really need to watch her weight. She does pick up the crumbs when they've been eating snack in here, or if she goes into another classroom, she sniffs out any crumb that's in that room. But we do our best to clean up, and the kids are very responsible. If they know that last year when she was coming into classroom lessons, they would clean that classroom and pick up pieces of tiny eraser or pencil or crayon, because they don't want her to choke. They're very caring for her. The students are instructed to not touch her if they have an allergy. There are students that are very responsible who will go and wash their hands immediately afterwards. We do go out to the playground to take walks. The kids love to walk the perimeter of the playground. If we're in the field, they can follow along as long as we're staying in the designated spot where they're allowed to go. Sometimes when I'm working with an individual or small groups, we can go outside and get some fresh air with her, and that's teaching them. They are in control of her. When it's an individual child that I'm working with, they can take her leash. I can double up with another leash. There's 2 rings on her harness, so that for a smaller student I can have control, but they are feeling as though they're taking that lead. They can give her the commands. They are taking that responsibility for her. You know, I have students that come in here that are brought here who are crying, sobbing, and she's such a calming force that they calm down, they settle down, and they start petting her and just start talking about what's bothering them. She makes them feel comfortable. The new student, we've had an influx of students this year, so helping them feel comfortable having conversations with me, because they don't have that relationship with me, has really been helpful. The staff here adore her, and of course not everybody is a huge fan of dogs. We do have we have 3 students that I can think off the top of my head that are nervous around dogs, and they've done a wonderful job of trying to get over that fear, because they want to join in with that. And I have a waist leash that I can keep her attached to me during class, so that she's not necessarily free roaming in class when they're not comfortable. So we have 2 students that are very proud of themselves for working through that fear, and I'm working on the 3rd.